Hi everybody, this is Kim Phillips with Coastal Star Decor, and today I am doing some live painting, and I thought you might want to join me. Not going to be seeing me today, and I obviously didn't do a great job with my hair and makeup today because I'm just painting. I've got 2 shows this month and I'm just painting away. So I'm going to actually put my camera on a tripod and put it overhead so you can see what I'm painting, and then you can watch. If you give me comments, I'm probably going to try to hook it up on my computer so I can see comments while we're looking at it. But hope you enjoy yourself, and if you have any questions, just let me know. Alright, I'm going to reverse this. And try to connect it up here with it. Of course I turned it off as soon as I tried to do this. Alright. Let's see. Make sure you guys have a good view. How's everybody doing today? We started off pretty rainy this morning, and now it's right pretty. Sun's out. Alright. This looks pretty good. Maybe you can hear my dogs outside barking. I figured they would do that as soon as I went live. Alright, so what I've done, I've got 4 bar stools. I don't know if you can see that or not. Hopefully you can tell. And I used a stencil. I don't normally use stencils on the bar stools or on anything really, but started to do that lately, and then I put like an artistic touch to it, and I'm going to kind of show you what I'm going to do. So I use several different colors when I use the stencil, and they're layered stencils. So I would have one base stencil which gives me my shape, and then have other overlays that give you know, kind of more detail. And I never use, like you can probably maybe tell here, I never use just one color. Like this was just one stencil where I did all the blue and brown, but that's the colors on my sponges, so I used my dirty sponge and it kind of gave, you know, a lot of texture there, and that keeps it from looking like, you know, it's just a stencil. Let's see. Alright, I can't tell if anybody's watching, so I don't have comments, I guess. I'm not sure how to make comments come up. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and go on what I've got. I'll show you my palette here. Hopefully you can see that. Alright, so, and yes, I use old dishes for my palettes. I can wash them and reuse them and not be filling things into the landfill. Plus, I've got all these old dishes from my mom, my grandma, my great-grandma that are just sitting there. So now I get to hold them and think of them as I paint. So I've got a couple of different dark colors for shadowing. I did have another palette when I did my stenciling, but because I use a floating medium, which is what's here, floating medium is the substance, the medium of paint really. It's the fluff without color in it. And this is what I use. I don't know if that's backwards for you or not. If it is, you can look at it this way maybe. So either way, I use folk art. It works really well for me, especially doing this technique. I have a small brush. I'm using a number 12. This is from Donna Dewberry's set. And I can give you her link later on in the comment section if you're interested in that. They're just my favorite brushes. She does really great. She did a great job with Plaid getting these brushes developed for her. Alright, so what I do is I load, I'm going to start off with the starfish. I kind of work left to right because I'm right-handed and I don't want to go over, you know, because I rest my arm a lot. So here's my starfish. I'm going to start on him, and he's kind of got that dark color to him. So I'm going to load my floating medium. It's clear on a white plate, so that's hard to see, but I'm just kind of loading that into my brush. And then I'm going to go beside the burnt umber. And see, I just kind of loaded it there on the edge. And then I kind of run it like this. What I want is a gradual look from dark to light. So then I just kind of outline my starfish. And I hope you can see that. If you're on here, type out hi or something, let me know, and see if I can actually see my comments. I'm going to keep going back to my thing, my palette to pick up paint. I have to constantly pick up paint when I do this. But you see how it will give that shading from dark to light there. So I'm literally just going to go around here. And you know, you can make this as detailed as you want. Obviously, the more detailed you make it. Now, you know, my dogs have been outside for about an hour, and they did not start barking and carrying on until I got on Facebook Live. So I see how that works. Isn't that always the way? Just like with your kids. I don't have any little kids anymore, though. Let's see. Going around here. So if you're just joining, we're just shadowing the stencil that I've done to make it look a little bit more like art. I hope y'all can hear these dogs. That's awesome. We have just rescued a, well, she's 6 months now, almost 6 months old puppy, to go with our other two rather large dogs. So it's we have a pack. We're officially a pack now, and life's very entertaining. I've never had 3 dogs before, and 3 is a lot of dogs. All right, so I've shadowed it out. Now I'm going to go back with some floating medium and just kind of make sure that that's blended well with the background. Otherwise you kind of end up having a line of floating medium. Then I'm going to dip dot the end of my brush into my burnt umber and just kind of give some more Now see, when we first started doing this, it looked like a stencil, and now it's starting to look more hand done. And I could spend a lot more time with this, and I can make it, you know, a lot more complicated, but I'm not going to do that. You know, the more time I spend on it, the more I have to charge for it. So I want to keep it reasonable, that people will do it. And I'm also going to tip into, I've got some warm white here, just going to kind of dip it. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm just taking the end of my brush, just poking it in my paint, and just making the dots. And what happens is the more you dot, you know, it starts off big and it gets smaller. So that kind of helps make it all not look the same. So I'm kind of done with that. I'm gonna pick up some more medium. I'm mixing it in with my white a little bit, and then I'm just gonna kind of give a little highlight to the starfish, just kind of give it a little movement, and I'm done. So now I'm going to move on to my whelk here. Let's see. Hope we're still going live. I sure wish I could see comments. Alright. If I have any questions later, you know, I'll come back and I'll answer it if I don't see them. Oh, I may see one. Oh, hi! I don't know. Is that, are you laughing at me? I'm not sure. I can't see the emoji. So I'm loading up my medium. And for this, I'm going to start off over here on the edge. And I'm going to fill in with the brown, the burnt umber. So I'm going to start at the top. I think you can see that. I'm sorry if my hand gets in the way. I'm just going to kind of establish on the shell, you know, where that kind of twists and turns there. And then now I'm going to go around and just highlight, shadow. Let's see, maybe the dogs have calmed down a bit. Let's see how long that lasts. Said if you're there, let me know. Got more medium. And then this part of the shell, you know, it kind of comes out over that back part. So we're going to make that, help push that out a little bit. Can you see that? There we go. And I'll give you a tip. If you make a mistake, a clean brush with just the floating medium on it acts as an eraser. So like if I'll just use my finger on that. But if I didn't like that and it started to dry, you know, before it dried too much, I could go back with the medium and alright. So now we're going to stick around this edge around here. Can you see the difference? Can you see where it's starting to pop off the top of the stool? And we'll have these bar stools at a show I'm doing next Saturday. It's the Saturday before Mother's Day. I don't even know what the date for Saturday is. It's going to be at Hilton Village. Sorry, sometimes I actually do have to think about what I'm doing. It's going to be in Hilton Village. They are celebrating the neighborhood's 100th anniversary. So that's kind of exciting. I live near there, so I really wanted to do that show. Be a part of it. Kind of excited about it. Alright, and then I'm also going to pick up this outside here. This outside ends up being, it's kind of a lip. So I'm just kind of helping establish it from the back side of the shell here. I hope this is showing up. I guess I'm going to learn. Let's see if it does. Okay. And this is the part of the shell where it comes out, you know, it kind of curves in there, so I need to create that curve. So I think I'm going to go do the outside first. Hope you can see what I'm doing. So I've got the show this Saturday in Hilton, the Saturday before Mother's Day, and then Memorial Day weekend. Oh wow, that was my dog. Oh, I can't wait to see if y'all could hear that. I hope you could. I have an 8-year-old chocolate lab, and that's what they do. Of course, he's laying here right at my feet. Oh, that's so funny. I'm really letting you guys into my life here. Nothing like painting on a Sunday afternoon right beside a gassy dog. A 150-pound gassy dog. At least it's not smell-o-vision, right? Okay, so that one a little heavy. I don't like that. So I'm going to kind of run over that, and then I'm going to pick up some medium, kind of erase that out and kind of work it. See how that kind of picked it up? There, I like that. So, Memorial Day weekend, I'm going to be doing a show. It's in Virginia Beach on the boardwalk. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's a steel pier art show and surf competition. And that's one of my, I have 2 favorite shows I do. I like all my shows, but I have 2 favorite. One's the Pocosin Seafood Festival in October. And then the Steel Pier show. It's very well run. Got a really nice lady that organizes the artists that really takes care of us. And if you do any sort of surf art, I recommend you checking out her show. Alright, so I'm going to, for here I want to create a little bit more depth. So I am going to use the black in here. So there's my black. I'm going to pick up more of my medium, and then I'm going to pull out my black a bit like that. And then just kind of run along the edge here. So I want to pick up a little bit more. When you use that floating medium, you know, it really thins it out, which is what I want. I don't want it to be so opaque. So I've got it running along here, and then I'm going to pull it out. Just kind of fan it out here so that it goes from dark to light, and it creates that depth where that's curving in right along here. And then I'm going to pick up, what is this color? I just pulled colors in, like burnt sienna. So I'm going to pull that burnt sienna and pull that back in like that, so that it blends pretty well. And yes, I do a lot of finger painting. And then I'm going to go back, pull out a little bit more dark, and pull that, and go back and forth until I get the depth created that I'm looking for. I'm not worried about this edge yet, because I'm getting ready to shade it, and that will, oh yeah, much better. Starting to not look like a stencil, right? So anybody could do this. Alright, so I'm just taking my brush and I'm rubbing it off on a paper towel and getting that dark off. And picking up my medium again. Remember, the medium is the paint fluff without pigment. And because now I'm going to do this outside, so I'm going to go back to my burnt umber and pick up more brown than black. And just kind of run it along here. And it's going to soften that edge and help give that depth look that I'm looking for. Now I'm going to go back and just blend it. See that? Cool, huh? And then while I have a lot of medium on my brush, I'm just going to pick up burnt umber. I hope you can see that. Burnt umber just on my whole brush, not just the edge. And just kind of run it along here. I need more color. Just kind of run along here just to give some texture into the shell. Yeah, shells don't look perfect, right? Make sure you say hi if you're on here so I know you're here. I'm still figuring out this technology stuff. Alright, so let's see. I'm going to clean up my brush a little bit since I got it kind of dirty there. And let's see. I'm going to run along this edge a little bit just to kind of give it a little bit darkness. So I'm going to go back to the floating medium, working into my brush, pick up some brown on the tip. And then I'm just kind of shading in here to deepen these crevices. And it kind of breaks up that. If you're just joining, I've got 4 bar stools. I'm just going to do one for you here today. And I'll show you, I still have, this is my 3rd one, so I still have one left that I haven't done. So at the end of the video, I'll show you again what it looked like. I put stencils on them. Instead of hand painting the whole thing, I stenciled, and then now I'm going back with my shading and making it look, you know, not so stenciled. So we're going to see how that works. I'm kind of digging it. Yeah, it makes it so that anybody can do this. And I can teach you how. Alright, so I kind of like that. I'm liking how it looks. It's popping off. You know, my bar stool looks a little bit real. When you back up from it, it really stands out. I am going to pick up a little bit medium. I'm going to pick up some white. Just a little bit white. I know that's hard to see because I'm on my white dish, but and then I'm just going to kind of give some highlight there. See that? Again, that I'm going to keep my dark here because I'm creating that depth in that crevice. Yeah, I like that. I'll highlight there. I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, I could go on and on and on and, you know, just make a phenomenal looking shell, but the more time I spent, you know, when you're painting things for sale, you know, the more time you spend, the more expensive it's going to be. So, hi, Chrissy, how are you? Oh, hi, Allison and Betty and Tom. I'm just now seeing all this stuff. There must be a lag or something. All right, so, hi, modern day Bob Ross. That's funny. No, I'm not, but thank you for saying that. That's very kind. So, I'm going to work on, this is my last shell, and as you can tell, I kind of mentioned in the beginning, when I do stencils, I don't always just use a color, and I think that that's why people have such a bad taste in their mouth about stencils. You know, because if I just did a blue on here, it would look like a stencil. But I had a dirty sponge, I'd had colors that I used in the different shells here, so I just added a little bit, and this is the bright cobalt blue. So, but I took it, I put it on a dirty sponge with the different colors, and I wiped it across, and it kind of gave that that look that's hard to get, you know, with a brush. So because of this coloring, it's a little bit more, you know, black and grays and blues than the browns. There's some brown in it. But so I'm going to use a little bit more. I've got a wrought iron here, and I've got a black. So I'm going to use that to do my shading. So again, I'm going into my floating medium. I want a little bit light shading first. So I am going to pick up some of the wrought iron first. It's a little bit lighter. It's a different texture than the black too, licorice. But so I'm just going to do a little bit of light shading along through here that the camera may not pick up, but in you know, real life. Now see how I went over there? Let me show you. If I just take plain floating medium, it erases it. Magic! See, and this is why you take lessons to learn these little tricks, right? Alright. So I'm going to go back to my wrought iron and use it to do some creating more curves here. And working on these curves is going to, you know, give it a little motion and make it a little bit more like a live painting. More 3D effect. And then I'm going to kind of make some curves here with the lighter, with the gray. And you see I'm just loading my brush. I just have the tip. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that good? Can't tell. So I just got the tip kind of covered in paint, and the rest has that floating medium on it. So it again gives it a really natural look. Alright. So now that I've done that gray, I'm going to start working on my black. So I'm pick up floating medium again, dip it in my black. I don't know, can you see that? Sounds like my dogs have settled down. Hopefully they're still in the yard. If it starts to rain again, I'm going to have to get off here and go fetch them. Alright, so I'm going to go back again, create a little bit more, you know, this rotation that's here in this shell. I don't know what part of this shell is called. And it doesn't have to be perfect. That's way too much. So go back to my finger painting. Doesn't have to be perfect. But I'm not making a straight line either. I'm kind of just following that curve. And then I want to go back. That's too much. So I'm going to wipe it off with a paper towel. Now go back, pick up a little bit. I'm kind of growing here, so I need to go back over here next to my original. Can you see where I'm working it into my brush? And I'm just keeping it on that tip because I want that gradualness. I want the dark to light. Mr. Starr and the Grom have gone to see a movie, so I thought I'd take advantage of them not being here to do this. I have enough paint, so I'm just picking up floating medium now to help that paint move. You don't want to line. You don't want to hold your brush up and pull it this way when you're shading. Oop, that was too much. I'm going to go back and fix that. See how I'm rubbing the brush beside it? That's a perfect amount right there. But I'm about to run out of paint, so it will this is still showing. So now I'm going to go back, and I've got more just medium on my brush to kind of get rid of where I put a little bit too much. I do like it dark and heavy there, though, I will say. And since I'm doing 4 bar stools, you know, that will make this one look a little bit different. So I like that. That's what makes it look, you know, less like a stencil. Some of they all look different. Alright. So I'm picking up the black again, loading it up again, going around. And then after I go around here, we're going to go in and work on the depth of that curve. See that? All right. Picking out my brush, picking up more medium, and look at there. That medium just erases all that excess. And that's how I like it right there. I like that. Alright, if you're just joining, I've got 4 bar stools, and I actually used shell stencils. So now I'm going back and I'm just giving it a little bit of personality so it doesn't look so much like a stencil, and we're doing a pretty good job of that. We're shading and shadowing and just making the shells pop off of here. So right here I'm looking to create some depth. I appreciate you guys logging on, watching. This is a lot of fun to do. Alright, so I'm going to get more medium. Let's see. Alright, and when we talked about the medium is the fluff and paint without the pigment, right? So I'm loading my brush, and I'm going to go ahead and pick up with my whole brush this black, because I'm going to come along here and start building black. I hope that this is good on the camera. Start building black. I want right in here to be my darkest, because that's the deepest of the curve of your shell. There we go. So see, I've got it along the line, then wiped off some of the excess paint, and now I'm just going to pull it out. Pull it out, pull it out, pull it out. See that? But my darkest part is going to be in here. I'm actually going to take some of this black and add in a little bit of blue. Pull that in. That gives it a little bit of color. Like I said before, I could do this for an hour, but when you're painting things to sell, you don't have time to work on one bar stool for an hour, because nobody's ever going to pay you that much. Time is money, and nobody's going to pay you that much for the bar stool. So I'm adding a little bit of white now. That's to give it a little bit of highlight. And then pull back the black into that white. There, that's pretty. There it looks. Looks like it's curving, don't it? Alright, so now I need to go along the edge here. I'm about done with this shell. So I'm picking up medium. And I'm sticking with black. So I'm going to... Actually, I'm going to wipe off my brush a little bit better. Because when you're shading and shadowing, you really need this clean brush. So picking up, working it into my brush, picking up a corner. So now if you're enjoying the painting, you like my style, I am teaching online now using Zoom classes. I can do it in a group, I can do private, whatever. So email me, Kim at Coastal Star Decor, and tell me what you want to do, and we'll paint it together. When we do it on Zoom, then I will record the lesson, and when we're done, I'll send it to you. That way you've got it. There, look, I'm adding in a little bit of that blue there, and I'm going to pick up some white. Ooh, yeah, that's pretty. Puppies are telling me my time's about up. Alright, so that's kind of pretty. I like how that ended up. I'm going to work out this medium a little bit. I can always sand that down as well. I got a little bit carried away. So that's going to be how I fix that. Because that's a little heavy there. Perfect. Alright. I like that. And then, you know, I am going to pick up a little bit of white, plain white, and kind of pull it. Look, that's helping give that illusion of curving there. So you just kind of curve with how your shell's curving. Oh yeah, see, that made all the difference right there. Alright, so that's a good sample of shading and shadowing. Again, I could sit here and do this for an hour. I'm not going to. So there is the finish. And here, let me pull this out of here and see if I can get back. And if I turn it off, I'm sorry. Okay, so this is what we just did with my light. And this is what the bar stool looks like with just the stencil, without any handwork done to it. So you can use a stencil and make it look not like a stencil. Oh, thank you, Stephanie. Thank you for watching too. I appreciate that. So that's another one I did. That's the third one we just did. And this one's a little different. So I'm going to get ready to do this one right here. So I'll do that offline because I think I need to go get my dogs in. So thank you so much for watching with me. And we're going to do more of these. I got requests to do them. I know this was a weird time of day. Everybody's coming up from church and still taking their nap. But, well, not quite. Y'all should be getting up now. So anyway, now you're making dinner. So I'll try to do this in better timing. It just kind of worked out for me. And you guys can watch it later. But I really appreciate you watching. Just stay on the Facebook page. Share my page. I appreciate that. And again, let me know if you need any lessons, online lessons. If you're local, we'll get together locally. And we'll go for there. All right, you're a real blessing to me. Thank you very much. Love you guys.